Hi, everyone. Welcome back to our series on transitioning back to campus. I'm Eve, and this is Khan.
Hey, so today we want to go over some suggestions for study skills as we return to campus and in-person classes during COVID-19.
Yep, so things are always changing, so you may have to adjust your studying again to being in person from before when we were remote learning due to COVID. So as we begin spending more time on campus and socializing with others, you'll continue to get more used to it.
Yeah, and even under normal circumstances, academics and test taking can be stressful, but we understand it can be even more so by returning to in-person learning environments after spending so much time remote.
So that's why we thought it would be helpful to go over some study tips and test anxiety. In this presentation, we'll be going over two areas. The first being scheduling, which entails time management, planning out your days, as well as other studying and other tasks relating to being a student. And the other area we'll be covering is studying methods, where will be going over how to get the most out of being in person and how to utilize active studying.
Yeah, so let's start with scheduling. As I'm sure you know, time management in college is very important. One of the best ways to manage your time is to make a schedule and stick to it. So figuring out a calendar system that works for you to plan out your days, including your work and class schedule, would be a great place to start. I know for me personally, I like to use Google Calendar to keep track of my days.
That's a great resource, Con. I personally find paper planners to work the best for me, but it's really different for everyone. So find what works for you. I like to use different colors for each classes and different internships that I have. It's also actually really helpful to include activities other than class and work times. I also like to talk to my professors beforehand to explain my situation and get a sense of how much time weekly is required for the class before I put it in my planner.
For sure. And that's a great idea. Check in with your professor if you have family obligations, work needs, or other needs that they should know about early and can help mitigate a lot of potential issues. Getting a sense of the time it takes to complete requirements for your classes can help you prioritize how you spend your time and where you focus your efforts. For example, breaking a large project due at the end of the semester into smaller chunks you work on each week can help make it a bit less stressful and daunting as the due date approaches. Scheduling in this way is especially useful for hybrid classes where it's important to keep track of the in-person and online components.
Definitely. You can also put other mundane aspects of your day into your schedule as well, such as commuting to class, getting groceries, and even when you want to fit in your workout. This can help you gain an even more accurate sense of where your time is going.
Well said. I know I want to do more of that this semester.
Yep. So let's go over another really helpful aspect of scheduling, which is organizing study sessions and integrating a social aspect for studying and working on assignments.
For sure. So reaching out to peers and scheduling study dates via Zoom or in person following CDC and your school's guidelines can be very useful as studying together can make it much easier. I've found that studying with classmates and friends is much more fun, helps me check in about anything I may have missed, and allows me to see new perspectives on the material.
Yep, I also found studying with others to be highly effective. Also, as COVID-19 restrictions continue to change, you consider studying outside your home too. It can be helpful to change your environment. Some places to consider would be cafes, coffee shops, the library, and other places on campus. This can help you stay fresh.
That's a great tip. Personally, I know I do my best studying in the same place consistently. It's pretty interesting. We actually learn to associate a certain space with learning, so it can be helpful to set aside different places in and outside of your home for learning and relaxing, helping us keep some work-life separation. Overall, you want to find somewhere where you're comfortable and can avoid distractions while continuing to follow CDC and your school's guidelines, of course.
Definitely. Now let's talk about study tips. Active studying is an important aspect of academic success and helps you stay engaged and participate in class will help you to absorb the material well. Just like the age-old adage of you've heard before of how 50% of success is just showing up. Think about how you learn best and personally engage in a course.
Yeah, well said. And setting goals for your academic performance can be a great way to hold yourself accountable and give you the extra push to accomplish your goals for the semester. It's important for these goals to be realistic and measurable. And this is just like SMART goals, which I'm sure you've heard before, which we have resources for in the description if you're unfamiliar. One way to use SMART goals is making goals to participate in class regularly for the semester, such as I'll raise my hand 2 times each class, or I'll reach out to one classmate and set up a study meeting with them.
That's a great point, Con, and is so useful in all aspects of life. As we mentioned earlier, talking to your professor is a good way to not only establish a good relationship for the term, but also to explain any concerns you may have about being able to meet the requirements of the course.
Yeah, and also when it comes to scheduling and time management, it can be very helpful to talk to your professors about the format of the assignments and adjusting your study habits accordingly. Some things to consider are, do you take tests online or in person? Are they open book? How to best learn and study the material? And what are the office hours for your classes?
Those are all really good things to consider when communicating with your professors. Now that we've gotten to talk a good bit about scheduling, we also wanted to discuss some active studying habits you can use to help you absorb the material and do well in your assignments. Khan, do you have any active studying tips in mind?
Yeah, of course. So some useful ones that work for me are retrieval practice, which is basically quizzing yourself on the material you just learned. You can do this using flashcards or covering part of the text. This helps me to really retain the information better after going over it. It also helps to jump around from topic to topic to help break up the monotony while studying. This helps me to stay fresh and focused, and also mimics a test format. The exam will also likely mix topics.
So using images or visual aids such as Venn diagrams or flowcharts can actually also be helpful. You can study with the ones in material or even create your own if you're feeling creative. If you learn this way, this strategy become useful, but ultimately you should find the ways that you learn best.
Yep, and you can also try to take the material you just learned and apply it to examples. This can further strengthen the concepts in your mind and may provide you with interesting questions that you can talk about in class. This is super easy for me and Eve because we're in psychology, so we discuss case examples all the time. I even sometimes try to think of a fictional character from a movie or book who I can apply the ideas to.
Well said. I like to use examples when I'm feeling iffy about anything that I learned. Now let's talk about testing anxiety. As we transition into in-person, tests are going to continue to look different, and you may be feeling anxious about taking them. So this is why getting a sense of how the tests will be administered and the material that will be on them can inform you on the best way to study and hopefully ease some of that anxiety you could be feeling. So taking something comfortable with me to the test is something that works well for me, like a favorite pen. It makes me think like, a little bit at home.
Definitely, those are important things to keep in mind. We do have more in-depth resources on testing anxiety, actually. So if you're interested in this topic, you should check those out, which will be linked in the description below.
Yep, and here's the email, which you can use to contact us, our website, our YouTube, and our Instagram. These are all linked in the description as well. And we'll be posting reminders of these uploads through our Instagram, so it could be a great way for you to keep in touch.
Yep, and we have also included information about COVID-19 in the description as well as a link to our services where you can request an individual check-in. We also have a lot of webinars, including on transitioning back to campus and other topics, which you can find on our channel.
The Center for Psychological Services, CPS, of the Rutgers Graduate School of Applied and Professional Psychology, GAZAP, in collaboration with the New Jersey Department of Human Services Division of Mental Health and Addiction Services, Disaster and Terrorism Branch, offers this crisis counseling program through a federal emergency management agency, FEMA/SAMHSA grant. This program is brought to you through the New Jersey Hope and Healing Crisis Program.
All right, thanks for watching.
Thank you.